Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you? Okay, so we bring the meeting to order for February 1st. Welcome to February, everybody. First item on the agenda is a design for the pavilion on the boardwalk.
Unfortunately, I just got notified 30 seconds ago. Paul had struck right, and Paul was working on this, and he's been working with Tom Reinecker, the architect, on the drawing and everything else, but what we have here is a rendering of a proposed pavilion structure that could go on the pavilion on the pier.
Not the pier.
Well, I'm sorry, the pavilion part of the boardwalk. But Tom worked on this, we talked about it a while back, and out on the pier itself, putting the structure out there, for events and everything else. But then, after we had events out there, that kind of was gonna be in the way, so then we decided maybe to move something like that to the pavilion part of the boardwalk. It's kind of, he did Tom Reinecker did a drawing of this, just to give you a concept. We need a lot better set of plans to actually send out, get some prices, and do some bidding and construction wise. But this is just a general, concept, a little bit fancy. Tom has some nice custom stuff in his design book, I think, so it won't, it doesn't look plain, but it's, basically this one here is 20 by 40. And it's got columns, cedar columns, and it would have a blue metal roof to match the welcome center. And it would provide, shade for the bands, so when they put the tent out there, when the board got blown in the water, stuff, for any kind of events like that, for all the bands we got there, for maybe even small weddings and stuff like that, it's been talked about, so. But this was a concept that's going to be presented tonight, and then if the council likes the concept, then we can move forward with getting a better set of drawings for construction plans and then pricing.
Is it open?
Open, all
All
open, yeah, it'll all be open. Probably about 10 foot to the ceiling.
Does that, that's what I was just thinking about, the ceiling, like,
Can you
seems like,
see where it's called?
yeah, I know there's a lot of,
Yeah,
we can get that emailed to us, but,
Right.
I wonder, like, and I'm sure you accounted for this, so like with the band, usually there's like a little riser, like a little platform.
For the drummer in the back or something?
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to have a little bit raised up,
Right.
would that accommodate for that?
We probably could
Height.
almost have one that would be portable, that we could, move it out in case we did need the whole open
We've
space.
never had that for any of the bands before, it's always just been a flat surface.
Yeah.
Has it?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes.
Well, they'll bring their own if they would.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I was just wondering, if they brought it, like, is it, you know what I mean?
Well, we got a 10-foot ceiling, so it's pretty
It'll
high.
still be high, that's all I was just thinking about, if they,
Like here, it's probably 12-foot ceiling.
okay,
So maybe 2 feet less than that.
okay.
8 foot is about, somewhere in the neighborhood, so and that's not a fix, that's like I said, general concept. It could be raised a couple feet, with that in consideration. Also, I mentioned to the mayor, the reason that he kind of shrunk it over here was for the Christmas tree, but then we went out and looked at it, and I think we can move the Christmas tree out a little bit more, and we're gonna do the expense, the total pavilion, I think we need to enlarge it, because the main, obstacle here is gonna be putting the foundation, because we're gonna have to take the deck and get underneath the pavilion part to get to the full concrete foundations that are, whatever structure's
All the
gonna
way
sit on,
through.
this will have to be hurricane proof. 100-mile winds or whatever, so we have to make sure it's pretty secure.
Alright.
You can't just bolt right to the existing deck.
Has to go down through the
Through
deck.
the deck, right. I measured the other day, we have about 24 inches between the bottom of the deck and the sand, so we can't come in from the, underneath.
I want to make sure we get it right.
Yeah, so we have to remove some of the decking, do the columns, or do some concrete footing for it.
What size are we looking at?
That's basically like 20 by 40 right there, but
What do you
I
recommend?
kind of recommended to expand it outward a little bit, maybe not wide, but come out towards the boardwalk itself a little bit more.
On this drawing, it looks awful small.
It's small, and like I said, that's why I can't see the expense of putting all the foundations in, and you have something that's not.
That's the same size as the tent we currently put up on the pavilion.
Right.
They're 20 by 40,
20
yes.
by 40. And we kind of talked to the mayor a little bit about the staffing, and he was good about bumping out 61 feet or whatever.
Yeah, I'd almost have to do that and get up.
Could you lay it out for us?
That's what I'd like to do, actually.
Yeah.
Talk
Lay it
about
on
doing it.
tape.
And we,
Yeah.
Tom Monica was actually supposed to meet, us after the staff meeting on Tuesday, but, I don't know whether or not, he couldn't make it last Tuesday to kind of look at the beams underneath the structure, underneath, see what we can do. And to make it more fitting, because I think that looks kind of busy with the columns, there's 6 by 6 columns there. So I actually wanted to take a 6x6 block though, and actually put them on there to see, you know, with 20x40, I have a lot of columns in there, so I don't want to look too busy where the band couldn't see the columns or
Right.
block to view of them, so kind of like to stretch it out a little bit. Everybody agrees. I mean, that's just my personal
Richard, what do you
opinion
think?
and recommendation.
Since you're down there a lot, obviously operating and stuff.
No, I think it's definitely needed. The tent has really been a challenge over the years. You know, we've fished it out of the bay, how many times I can't tell you, but it's just, it's not only for the bands and concerts, but, you know, we set that tent up for a lot of things. We're having weddings, we have the Dragon Boat Festival, where they have Dolly the Eye, we've got all sorts of groups and activities. We've got one coming up next month that, you know, we typically rent tents that we put up, and this would just really save a lot.
As far as the size, do you
Size,
think like the
yeah.
current size is okay, or do we?
Yeah, we definitely need a 20x40, and even larger would be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and it wouldn't even, you know, impede the space for the Christmas tree during the Christmas holidays. We could use it for Santa, you know, as opposed to the Santa tent, we could use it for a lot of things. You've got, you know, the town, the people in the town could use it.
Right.
To gather, you know, family gatherings or something.
Santa's sleigh would fit in there.
Oh, yeah.
Even the problem with the tent, we got, Richard, I'll tell you, that we set the tent up for certain events, and they, but then if you get a storm, like we do a lot with farmers market Fridays, or it seems like every weekend, we get, it doesn't get a storm, so we'll set up the tent Thursday, get ready for the event, and then you gotta order that whole tent, flip over in the bag, all the time, they pull it out of the bag, so, just be a more permanent, I think it would look, you know, look nice, look attractive, we'd have the town, you know, Jewel Chesapeake logo up here on the front there, where you kinda can see the roof's a little bit, different, but I think it will look, you know, it's cut in the architecture.
Could you go down there and lay, it? I mean, really, I mean, it would take a couple minutes to do it, 20x40 and then maybe a 36x40? Because that's what you're saying, like 16 feet more?
I think he needs to come out more to make, because it's got
Just show
sheer
both.
Yeah.
6x6 columns, and then you can see
So
through
that's
it like
what
a
we
little bit.
Just put the tape down,
Yeah.
second thing is summertime, when it's 100 degrees out there, what's gonna, I mean, obviously, you know, the beach is gonna be packed, but there's gonna be people going under that thing, so, I mean,
Well, usually when we've had the tent up anyway for, you know, a band or the concert on Fridays, it's up for the weekend.
all right.
We don't normally take it down until the following Monday or Tuesday. And there's never been a problem with that. Even if we had an activity or something, we let people know, hey, we've got to clear the space, we've got an activity or an event coming up, so there's never been a problem with
But
that.
you think it would be chairs?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, can people, I mean,
I think
instead of going to the beach, they might go under there, trying to get some cool, I mean, just,
I think a big key would be not to put any benches or permanent, so. people
Right.
can
Think
sit
permanent.
there. I mean, they might walk there,
well,
stand.
they bring their own chairs and put
Yeah,
there.
but we might have to like address that with the work on staff, you know, so you couldn't come there and flop up a picnic basket and chairs or whatever, so. Because that.
I'm just saying, think, just,
Well, years ago, there used to be a platform on that pavilion before the Trex was put down. It was a raised platform. The tent was up all summer long. And we had occasionally we'd have people come in and try to picnic there. We would just explain to them, it's not permitted, sorry, you know, we redirect them to other places, but one or two times, not many.
If it got to a point we could do also, I think, you could rub it off, you know, with the temporary ropes and clips,
Right.
like, you know, activity,
Right.
tonight or something like that, and watch off.
Yeah, but if you can lay it out.
Time.
that would be perfect.
But I think it'd be definitely 100% improvement over the tent that's there now. I mean, you know, for bands that we have, driving out, Friday, Mark even could do more music, maybe, or DJs out there, or whatever, just, I'll say we need a little bit, this is kind of, you know, want to let y'all see this, make sure everybody's kind of on board, and then go forward with the construction drawings, and then we get some firmer pricing.
Well, once we, right, we just need to decide
Decide.
if it's gonna be.
Yeah.
How much
Yeah,
it
if you
is.
can tape it out, that would be great.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't think
definitely
you need
do
to
it.
run the whole
I'll tell you what I'll do,
corners.
I'll tape it out and put some orange cones in, so it'll be easy to see, like the,
Show where the posts are gonna be too.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's, on his design, it's hard to tell later, but it's quite a few columns, and that was kind of the bulk of the existing timbers underneath. But, you know, it's like 4 sections and 6x6, so pretty good sized columns for just a 20x40.
How many columns?
Well, that's
Looks like
on the
there's-
sides.
Yeah, yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like there's like six.
Four in the corners, right,
8
two
of
in
them
one
altogether.
each.
Right.
Yeah, 4 on each side.
Right.
Yeah. It's 2 sets of 4 posts for each column, to hold the main structure, then it's 4 more, so it'd be 8 more.
Sounds like a lot.
It sounds like it is a lot.
Well, you got
That's why I
that too,
kinda-
the band's sitting in there, you're,
You don't want to the view.
To be honest, that's all we need, Tom Reiner, and kind of lay out them with some 6x6s. We can lay out the size for you, and we can do the fine details. You know, I wanted to see why I had so many columns, maybe for the roof structure, and what we needed. And
The
I
less
think
the better.
it is the 8-inch column that runs underneath the boardwalk. So his idea was, you know, we could go right through the deck and we could bolt right through it to that 8-inch beam that's already there. That way we wouldn't have to worry about hurricanes or anything lifting it.
Right.
But when we do that, you have to have quite a few columns and quite a few large timbers to hold the traffic to. So this is kind of worried about size, unfortunately, if we get all that column, big timbers would look too small.
Are we concerned
It's too
about,
bulky, you know, what I mean? So we might definitely find, yeah, too big.
have we thought about considering using using steel?
Not, heating communities, kind of open fishing vessels, I think.
Okay.
Whatever makes you
Just
feel the
because,
most-
because you can do steel, longer spans than just rapid.
I don't think it was even for the weight, I think it was just because of the way it laid out. And that's what, me and Paul wanted to get him down here and like kind of look at the beams, maybe put steel plates on top of the existing beams, so you have that one column instead of one on each side of the existing beams. But that's, we were gonna work that out Tuesday, be ready to go like, I say, could maybe.
Well, it's a good start.
Yeah.
Thank you,
But if you're
Robert.
kind of, go with the idea, kind of, go with the general basic concept that we can push forward.
Yeah, I think we're all in favor of doing
You
something.
don't want to waste a lot more time on design, or whatever, it's, you know, cancel it.
Okay.
When they structure it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we should have done it years ago instead of.
Yeah, I think that would be a great asset to all the events we have, and, you know, like I said, Richard said we could use Christmas, not done in summer all year round.
Yeah, you got two other plugs too. Calvert County Parks and Recs, they do a lot of events and activities all from the summer down there. And in the park, I mean, the library, just for the last couple of years, they do readings. It's been so hot sometimes, they used to go over to the, what I call the hatch corner, but now those trees are gone, so there's no shade
Oh,
for them, but other than, you know, over the park, they use that space as well, but this would be perfect.
You can go yoga, and then they're going yoga out there for a while, so something.
Yeah, all of
Like a
that.
yoga in the morning, there would be something in the summer or the evening.
That would be nice too,
Yeah, that'd be
yeah.
good.
Probably use it for something like
I
that.
think it's a win-win.
I really don't think we have to worry about people having
no.
I think they might, you know, come stand for a while, they're not gonna stay, you know.
No, I mean, you know, the reality is that entire length of the street needs shade from First Street down to Fifth anyway.
All right.
Okay.
We'll proceed forward, and, maybe my council may have some better, ideas of cost for it. And I'll lay it out that you go this weekend, you can see, I'll lay it out with some more experience, and hopefully it'll stay pretty close in place. We can lay it out as a, 36 spot, maybe, if that's what the
Or
council.
do both, do both, one for that, and then,
Yeah, we were first, like I said, the reason it was smaller, because the tree is kind of pretty big, but we looked at it, I think you slide the tree out closer to the street instead of plenty of room, so.
Okay, thank you. Next we have an update on playground and design.
This is our Callis Park continued revitalization with last year's improvements, with the stone wall, the new fencing, and the gate, to the Callis Park. It's sort of, there's sort of a, I don't know, black and white going on there, in a sense, there's new and old. The pavilion was relocated to the southwest corner, and the tot lot, which is still in excellent condition, is only suitable for ages 4, or up to 4 years old. And the bonded rubber surfacing has lasted quite a while with that. So, looking at the exercise equipment, it's almost 10 years old. I contacted the manufacturer. A lot of the parts are not available. Some of the pieces are missing. It's run its course, pretty much. So, the next screen, this just gives you some pictures of the improvements. If you'll just follow this away as we go through. Next one, this is the top lot, obviously, new equipment, the surface, and then we had the pavilion relocated and tied that into the new sidewalk. So that's your south side, and then going forward, there's no longer an interest in the exercise equipment. I've actually talked to a number of families over there, and they are looking for equipment for the 5 and up to 12-year-old kids. Also, your Boys and Girls Club, there are very few 4 and under at the Boys and Girls Club, so there's really nothing for them to do out there. You've got the swing set is in excellent condition, there's no need to get rid of that. And that entire surface on that north side is unlevel, has ruts, And it's just really unsightly, as you'll see the next couple of pictures here. As opposed to the first three you saw. Yeah. There you go. We got some koi ponds with no water. There's some more.
And that's gonna happen really anytime, because the kids will swing or twist around and will drag their feet, that's gonna run out, and that's a constant.
Right. Now, with the recommendations are to include the new playground equipment for the ages 5 to 12 group, to replace the exercise equipment and keep the existing swing set. We'll add a few benches, a couple of game tables, trash cans, and a seesaw. 3 or 4 people that I talked to, families, they kept bringing up the seesaw. And we'll use the same bonded rubber surfacing that we have on the top lot to cover that entire area. In the next couple of pictures we'll show you, so we won't have those ruts and those little areas there. That shows the existing swing set. The first one. Can you go back, Joe? No? Okay. We'll see another picture. This is for ages 5 to 12. The next one, same one. It shows you the surfacing, and then you see the existing swing set where it is will be included in that surfaced area with the benches all the way around, and then 2 game tables on the grassy area. That's just another angle. That's the layout. To the right of that, you see that long, looks like a pole. That's actually the sidewalk that cuts through from Chesapeake to Dayton. And then the space where the pavilion used to be could be used for like a playground-related sculpture, and there's sort of an example of one.
Sculpture is great.
Yeah, so as you walk through those gates, there's a sculpture on the right, sort of a little more inviting. And yeah. So that's our recommendation. It's within budget, and we'd like to put it out to bid. Any questions?
I guess I'm kind of saddened by the lack of interest in the exercise equipment. What was that based on, Richard? Just sort of.
It was installed in 2010. There was an interest back then. It just seems like we have more families now that are missing that other equipment for the age group, and there hasn't been a lot of use. They said the manufacturer of that equipment, there are very few parts to that. Some we can't even get. I was telling Mickey earlier, some pieces are missing parts.
So even the little bit older kids weren't using it?
No.
No.
In fact, we've had a couple of
Injuries.
we've had a couple of injuries from the Boys and Girls Club. Joey can probably share with you.
And they've actually filed claims. We're not responsible because we've had it cited for adult supervision and for ages such and such.
Right.
But the Boys and Girls Club trying to use that equipment will lax in their supervision. There's been a few injuries that we've had. Some wasn't
There's
serious.
a couple things on that, it's pretty dangerous.
When I saw this come through, my thought was, some of it's still in decent condition because it's not used a lot. It's possibly relocating it somewhere, if we can remove it nicely, and it can survive that. And my first thought was probably down at Overlook, if there's an area up to the side somewhere where it could go in naturally. Because I've seen people, when they do their runs, that's sort of like a turnaround point. Sometimes they'll stop there and do like some.
I thought like a pull-up bar or.
There's a few, I'm just looking at what equipment is currently there. Like the monkey bars, more or less. Like, it's just something of the pieces, like, we could look at them, if we can remove them all nicely, it could be a further discussion.
You tag what you want to keep, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, if we're taking it out, we don't have to like rip it out, we can safely take it out. Again,
Is there
I
room
know.
there at
So,
that park to keep some of the good pieces? If we wanted to keep them there or no? If we get the new stuff, is there not?
I just told Richard this the other day.
We actually
Or,
installed-
earlier,
I
sorry.
don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
We installed it back in 2010, and when we did, it's pretty large concrete. That was required in order to keep it stable, whatever, so I'm not sure how easy it would be to pull it out without, damaging it. I mean, you can pull it out and throw some concrete, but it's hard to
Could
relocate.
you leave the stuff that's okay and just pull out the bad
I
stuff?
think the plan really doesn't allow for that,
Or
we're
would
talking
not
about putting the
work?
resurfacing down, and just because of the way the plan for the new equipment and the swings and seesaws and game tables, it kind of doesn't allow for that, just the layout. And then also, as part of that bid, take out the equipment, so they can come in and do the, motorized mulch. And I don't know if they do that before or after, but they fill out the whole area, it's easier than the price, they get a discount for us on that, where they can do mulch.
Yeah.
I mean, we could definitely try, and like what you said too, that company, I don't think the parts, that equipment is kind of, probably phase that down where you can't get parts even if something wrong, so you have to be, you could get some of the equipment like push-ups or something simple probably, and then.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, maybe
Like say if you run down there jogging, like you said,
Right.
walking, they want to.
I mean, if we can, something to think about.
No sense of throwing it away.
Yeah,
So we
it's
can,
like, if you rip it up and it's like, in taking it out, it's destroyed, and that
Yeah.
plan sort of is gone, but like, if you're able to visually remove it and it's okay, then we could look at, is this piece something that we could reuse, and is there space down there for it? Because we could have those plans now, and spend time on it, and realize, hey, we can't take it out without breaking it.
Right.
I think the problem would be that if we did put it down there and we have the surfacing, then we start lining up the same worn out. You know, we got a lot of these, I guess.
Yeah,
You know, you have, instead, it's kind of like a over the park, and we keep the grass more cut, nice, or whatever, some of that, then we're turning to where you got spots where if we.
The MML offers, and they're involved with, as you know, HEAL, but Healthy Cities, that if we want to expand around town, that we should get those guys involved, because there's grants and all that and so forth. I just, I just think, definitely look into it, but
That's one of my projects, is becoming a field city.
right, so I think we will be able to go through that program, because I do go down there a lot because I have a little, and I'm just trying to think what would be able to do for me, the leg things, that's part of the ones that injured the kid, I bet you. The one you sit on, you spin, I mean, the only thing I think would be of value would be the monkey bars, if that, but even then, you can just do a single pull-up bar for somebody's exercise.
Right.
And
I think that'd be
That would
good.
be something.
you could do that, that'd fit perfect over in the right-hand corner, but, I say,
I would recommend something simple like that, you know, or like a.
Versus the whole, like, the
Or
ladder.
it's
Yeah.
also,
nobody's exercising. I mean, I think that-
Right.
when that equipment was made, it was probably, it's not really the most user-friendly equipment that you've used it. It's,
I think what happened, that was a recommendation from one committee or another, when we were redoing it, and, you know, we said, okay, and that was how it happened.
it's a good idea to try to get things out there and whatever, what people walking, people
Right,
in the
exactly.
park and exercise, but it didn't get as much use as I guess it was in the plan.
Possible alternative, where the old kiosk is,
Right.
not in the park.
yeah, just outside, that's
Just
what I was
outside
thinking.
in that gravel area, a couple
Yeah.
pieces there.
They use something like
So,
that.
because that way when the park's closed, like.
Yeah, get rid of that kiosk, it's falling apart, matter of fact, there's a piece of glass.
Well, also, you wouldn't have that in your background, you had a wedding over there.
Right.
Yeah,
The main thing we have to worry about
Right.
is insurance carry for, if we do put the.
well, you wouldn't put those pieces that we've had, and it's not us.
Right.
Adults don't do that sort of thing.
But to
We
Richard's
got to
point, I mean, I
probably-
think it's, I support your recommendation to go out to bid, for sure.
Well, we do want to
The
add something.
recommendation, but
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed that there isn't anything for handicapped kids. They need stuff too, and MML last summer, I brought back a brochure, I don't know what happened to it, but they had this wonderful piece of equipment where you could just slide a child from a wheelchair right into this piece of equipment. I think we need to look at something like that. to
I can go back to the designer and see if they can add the component.
Yeah, I've got a thing here that lists who these people were that were up there last year.
You take the backstop out.
There are a few other things we can add there too, like I know they make special seats for swings, for the same kind of things, so we replace one of the seats there for that as well.
The
The more that we can, so like for a swing, you can pull out the current swing seat and replace it with a larger one that's ADA compliant, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So with a wheelchair could actually go into, you could strap them in and stuff like that. And I think it's relatively expensive. Maybe we can just put a little more thought into that kind of stuff.
I think, if we're going to redo it, we need to look at all areas.
Totally agree.
And one other thing, I was actually talking to a friend of mine who has young kids, not here, he's in New York. But he has, by his house, there was a park that was recently renovated. And I was talking to him about it, and he said, well, what's the best thing about the park? And to my surprise, he said, oh, it's fully gated in, like fully fenced in. So I put my kids in there, sit down, read a book, or talk to somebody, you don't have to sit there and constantly watch them as they're running around and stuff like that. If you look at the current design of Cal's Park, we don't have that, right? So that's something maybe we want to consider. Like even our front gate doesn't really close, even if it does, it's a huge hole, and the kid can just run right out, and they'll right out into the road, right? It's literally just a sidewalk width away from the road, from the entrance to that park. I don't know that we can fence in the entire park, but I was looking at it today, maybe like that area where it has the 4 and below area, you could actually put a fence around that, possibly. So they could fence them into like that little play area.
I know we had that at one point, and I remember every week there were new wooden slats kicked out.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, every week there were new slats kicked out.
We needed to.
And-
Well, now we have that metal fence, a black metal fence, we can continue that around that little section where the existing playground is. Not the new one we're talking about, because we're older kids, but the other.
The top lot.
The top lot. So that would be something to consider as well.
That's a good point. I think we didn't like, to be honest with you, like staff and talked about everything, but the look of the old fence, it looked like jail almost, with chain link and wire on top. So it's not real inviting when you walk into a nice park or whatever. And that was the idea behind it. Definitely smaller kids, with the seating wall, figure like 2 or 3 year old kids, if they came to the seating wall, they wouldn't be able to get over it that quickly. But, 3 or 4 could jump right over it and be on the road right there. That is a good valid point, but that's the reason behind, with all the gates and all the green chain link, it kind of just looked like a prison almost when you're walking in there. You wouldn't invite them all.
I understand that. I don't think we need to change the main entrance right there, but if we
But
put
just
the
around
fence,
the other part.
continue the fence around the top lot, just
Right.
in that section.
Right.
Perhaps that might be a good idea.
The same
Maybe we
flag.
just get a- Yes,
Flag.
okay.
Yeah, that would be good.
Maybe we just get a.
But
floor
not the
fence.
same height, right, just maybe,
Maybe like 4 feet or
It
whatever.
probably would be the same height, no, we can,
Yeah.
look at that.
Yeah.
Just-
Around the existing.
My fence
top
around my
lots,
house is
now.
4 feet.
Yeah, like 4 feet.
Something that.
Like the old picket.
Yeah.
Remember the old picket fence?
Like 3 foot high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 to 4, whatever that
Yeah,
is.
something like
Only because it's just.
that. Around the small top.
And I need special-
Or the existing footprint.
Yeah, because I don't think we can do the entire lot, because
Right.
that would just not work with what we just did, but if we just around one section, might be a
Right,
good
and
idea.
that'll leave 11 there and don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Because they're quick. Kids are quick. As they age and everything.
Paul's learning that real fast.
Right. And the road is for, listen, this is stupid. Yep.
Okay, so I'll go back to the design there. What I'm hearing is we want to add something, we want to become ADA compliant. Okay? Maybe exercise bar or something to include at some point in the design, and then fencing around the top lot. Those 3 things.
And also a swing, maybe looking at
So that was the idiot.
yeah, I guess it's part of that.
Well, I'm sorry.
The swing.
ADA compliance.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm happy a slide's going back.
What's that?
I'm happy a slide's going back.
You miss it?
I remember the playground before we dug up that whole lot for the storm drains. Then I remember the playground that was there for a hot second. And then the next one, and then the trailers, and then the building, and then like 2 or 3 top lots in between when we had soccer goals that you could actually play soccer on.
That was a good.
I remember the nice G-force field,
That's before smartphones, Mickey.
so,
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
when your mother used to call you when it got dark, man.
No, it was the streetlights, and he wouldn't. You could hear him on 4th Street. He just yelled. Yes. Having going to Walt to get the soccer ball at the community center.
But now he uses text, and you can hear him all the time.
Yeah.
Next, we want to talk about the plaques and benches, additional plaques.
Yeah, I think I suggested that item. I think all of us probably have had people reach out to us about, more benches, or can we get benches, there's a limit, on the boardwalk. So just wanted to bring that up to see if we could creatively think about other locations, maybe something different. I know, Mike, you had emailed a picture of a plaque, and we talked subsequently, and Jane, you talked about a brick. Some towns have the bricks. And I think one thought, just kind of talking offline, maybe doing the brick type of offering in Overlook Park. And Mike, you had actually suggested that area, the right before you go onto the boardwalk. So I don't think we want anything in Third. Personally, I feel like there's so much kind of going on in Third Street Park, or I should say Sunrise Garden.
I think that we agreed to that when we put
Yeah.
that in, that was not gonna be someplace where put memorial benches.
And I think we should stick to that.
The-
But Overlook Park, I mean, so I'm just, I like the idea of the bricks, and I think maybe that area there at the walkway, maybe that's an option to do that if we want to offer people something. So, Paul, we're talking about the memorial bricks.
And I was gonna say this about plaques, and, this is not a hill I'm gonna die on. There's another one coming up. I really think we ought to pick one design for the plaques and benches and stick with it, because now we're getting a mishmash of a whole bunch of, we used to have ones that were, 3x8 or something.
Well, the bench memorial thing is over. We
Yeah,
will
there's
not
no more
do
bench.
that.
Oh, okay, okay,
So
so
there's
we're,
not, there's no need to pick design and stick with that. That's
okay.
over.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
We started getting.
Yeah,
We
I
want
think,
to-
I'm thinking, I mean, personally, like, we could just do the bricks somewhere, that, I don't think the plaques, and, I mean, I don't know where they would necessarily
So
go.
I'm understanding you want to do memorial bricks at Overlook Park that goes down to the gazebos. You want to replace that brick design that goes down to the gazebos.
Is it, well, the gazebo, it was more the walkway you were
Right.
thinking
What-
about, right?
I mean, from the pergola to the walkway.
Yes.
Exactly.
And again, I've purchased probably 4 times in my life, Calvary Marine Museum, different places, Chesapeake Beach, different places where you can buy memorial bricks for hospital or whatever. Done at least 4 times, and the prices range. I paid as much as $250 for one of those things, for my dad, my mother, my grandma, and so forth. And it serves a couple purposes. I've gone back to places before just to see those bricks or go back. And the only thing we were having a chat about was, I was thinking about Overlook Park, and there's a spot where you leave the pavement and you go to the pergola. And to replace a brick, I mean, it's really simple to do. You just take one out and put one in.
They're not like big blocks, right?
No, they're like bricks. They're just like regular bricks. They fit the same way. But the point is that we all have been approached. We know the benches are over with, but I think because we're a beach town or a community walking town, people want to be a part of it that way. And I just thought that would be the easiest. The other thing I sent you was, if anybody goes down Myrtle Beach, you've seen it, they help fund the river there, cleanup and maintenance off of those little plaques. And they put it right on the hand railing that as you walk along, all the restaurants are to your right, and they're lined up. I mean, they cover a lot of cost. I'm not saying do that, but I'm saying those are 2 options. I think the brick would be the easiest, the cheapest. It's simple to do, it's not labor intensive, and it can all be done online.
And especially over there, Richard, you made a good point about weddings and things like that. I don't think we want to start getting crazy and busy. I think having the bricks is,
You
doesn't
don't even notice it unless you walk
change.
on it.
Exactly.
One thing about bricks too, you already have the walkway there, because if you sold bricks, you gotta sell quite a few to build a walkway.
Right.
And this way you pull out one,
At a
like Mike was
time.
saying, put it in, pull out one random little ways away, and you kind of fill up. As you go, you probably could do that. without a
How many
scale.
bricks do you think are there?
That's quite a few, so, but even if you space them out, have, like 4, and just one brick in the center, not in
Right.
the center, but the way it's laid out, like, so you have them spaced out, and this, you can actually read them. Before you get filled up, it could take a little while.
It would take years.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean,
Fill
it's,
that up.
I mean, I don't wanna say how
You
long
don't know
that
how
is,
many
right?
people call you or want to know how many people.
Right.
call you.
I know, well, people
Oh,
like to
geez.
email us, I mean, reach out to us first, so I think there's a big demand.
And
Right,
another
bricks.
program that for Memorial, whatever you would like to call it, is part of, I don't know if anyone read the American Indian report that came back. They were recommending, which I'm starting to work on, adopt a section of our planter boxes. And I'm going to propose that and maybe adopt one of our pots. We're still gonna have a theme for each section, but you will pay that price for whatever it costs to plant that part of the bed. And you'll get a plaque that'll go in that, and every plaque will still be, every plaque will look the same in memory of John Smith. Blah, blah, blah. And then for the year, that particular section of the garden will be in memory of John Smith for the year. And that was a recommendation that came out of American and Bloom. And that will also help offset the cost of the program for the year. And every year, we have, how many pots do we have in town?
74.
74.
Oh my God.
Maybe we can get more pots.
So everyone, if you wanted to buy into the pot program, you could.
Careful how we word that.
It would help, you could.
They will all buy into that. It'll be sold out tonight.
Yes, so whatever cost is to plant a pot, your name could go on one of the plaques in the pot. In memory of,
But that would change every year.
Well, right, the bricks obviously would change.
yes.
Well,
I would
that's what
say.
it
The pot would
change.
change every year, or you could, every year you
Couldn't
could
you
buy
just-
into that
Right,
particular
can you just
pot.
buy it
Right.
again?
You could buy it, you could buy it again.
Why don't we put a plaque on that pot?
Yeah.
And that would help cost, you know.
Help the cost, yeah.
Always get a plaque, see the
So what-
person afterwards, too, right?
Yeah,
If they didn't buy that,
absolutely.
you give the plaque, the person at the table. and do that.
After that, yeah.
You know, once they bought it, they could keep the plaque at the end of the year if they did want to buy it back.
Right,
And at least have a plaque to
Yeah, yeah, keep that.
do what they want.
yeah.
So that's another memorial program.
So what needs to happen to make the brick thing?
Well, I think maybe Donnie had brought bricks to us before.
Yeah, we got.
We talked about it when we were building
Sunrise Gardens.
Sunrise Gardens. We
Right.
talked
I'm
about it.
thinking about it.
So maybe we need to go back and do a little more research. on
Okay.
All I gotta do is make sure the sizes and color, because it's, the
Right,
type of brick
it
we
matches
use.
what's already there.
Yeah, with match, because these are 6x9s, a little bit different pavers than a regular brick is, one that's smaller, like 3x8, so usually, I think Brent's ready, they do bricks with all brick sidewalk, these are a little different, but the borders, and you just have to check with the company, I'm sure you can do it, there's a couple different companies that do the grade.
And it could be, we may have to acquire the brick and get it to them.
Yeah, we have, actually have an actual pallet of bricks, so, and it's probably a couple, while you're talking, I think it's probably like 2,500 brick in the sidewalk, so these, so yeah, a lot, you know. It's probably 50 pallets, and each one's 400 bricks in a pallet, so it's at least 2,400, I think. So even if we did half, we get 1,200.
Awesome.
But yeah, we could just check with the company. We did have that information, I have to look, they didn't have to find it, but we were getting described with, prices and everything, we get that for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Dawn.
Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, next we want to talk about the logo. Stacy?
Dawn, well, Dawn and Donnie and Bridget have been working on the shirt shack down on the waterfront, and, Dawn is working with an attorney here and the county, correct? And, we have applied for a patent on our logo and a trademark on our jewel of the Chesapeake. And that takes several months to receive that back. And what that entails is, once we receive our patent on our logo and our trademark on our jewel of the Chesapeake, we own the rights to that. And so, once we have that, we are the ones that have the exclusive rights to that, selling rights to all merchandise to that, so hindsight, we are the only ones that can sell anything with those items with that logo on it.
If that's what we decide
If that's
to
what we
do.
decide.
Right.
And we would have to grant someone else the rights to sell any merchandise with our logo on it.
I think the discussion really is that, I guess the purpose behind this was trying to make everything uniform
Yes,
and.
a quality product.
Quality product. So there must have been a big issue with it for this to come up.
Well, back when Ken was with us on council, Ken was going to do this, was going to patent and trademark our logo, was going to do this work for us.
Right.
And we applied for this a couple months ago. We put in this application for this to happen. And then all of a sudden, this discussion came up about the patent and trade, the other vendors in town, other businesses in town selling our merchandise. And we have already applied for the patent and a trademark. So I'm not sure what discussion you all wanted to have with this, and then, of course, the shirt check is being built now, so that we can sell our own products here in town as a marketing tool, because we're here to market North Beach and our own products. So what is it that the council wants from the staff with our own merchandise? What is it that you want the other businesses in town to do with our merchandise?
Well,
That
these
was-
days,
that
by the
was-
time if I'm wrong, but that is kind of like official North Beach.
Official
Like,
North Beach
not,
merchandise.
you know,
What we
somebody
wear,
sell,
what we wear, the shirts you wear, what
Yeah.
Richard wears, the shirts that you guys wear at the golf tournament, the merchandise that we wear.
somebody could sell
I
something,
don't
say
really-
North Beach or whatever, but it's not. you know,
Right.
But it's like more official.
Our official.
I think it's good to have the official, I think it's good to have the high quality. And I think it's really important that people understand the reason that we're doing this. It's a marketing effort to help bring more people. I think it's important that we market this as a marketing effort. But I don't know that we want to prevent them from selling some of the other things that they're already selling. Like, I don't know how much we want to try to control the free market. If they want to sell things that are a little bit less expensive, I don't, well, you're saying we own the logo. We're saying that we could say, you tell the people they can't sell, or we can control how and what they sell, right?
With that logo.
With that logo.
Only with that logo.
When
Only
you
with
have
that
North
logo.
Beach,
Beach hats that say North
North
Beach,
Beach, they can sell
they
that
can
all.
still sell
all day
stuff.
right, okay, so
have
other
logo.
creative, like what they're selling now, it could be in a certain font that
If they
says
had a
North
crab
Beach.
on
Yeah.
it, with North Beach crabs.
Right,
Like this I bought at Lighthouse Marketplace a couple years ago.
Yeah.
yeah, it says North Beach.
I have
They can
stuff-
still sell
I
that.
sell stuff from Marlene's that says North Beach on it all day
Right.
long.
Okay, that's what I mean, we don't want to
No.
try it, we're just saying our,
But
Now, is that what they think, that we're gonna keep them?
well, no, I just want to make sure that we're clear with people, that we're,
I've never
Pretty
seen,
clear about
the
that.
only other
Yes.
place I've ever seen anything with our logo on it is at Mexico, and the employees
Yeah.
have a shirt that has that on it.
Yep.
The logo.
are people using, ours, in addition to selling things that aren't,
They don't sell
Are
it,
they
it's just their
s-
employees have a shirt that have our
It's
logo.
a work uniform.
It's a work uniform.
Plaza Mexico.
right, because right now, they could take our logo and our tagline and put it on a shirt and sell it.
Yeah.
Anybody
Anybody
can.
Right, anybody could, right, anybody could.
And because we don't own the rights to it right now.
And that's what I'm saying, do we want to, we have to decide how much do we want to control the use of our logo? Are we saying that they can only sell
No.
official stuff if it has our logo and tagline?
Well, the logo and tagline makes it official. Nobody.
Well, right, but are we saying if they use that, are we saying it has to, it can only be, this quality sweatshirt material? I mean,
Well, you have to have a license agreement.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not
that's what I'm
licensed,
saying,
they're
is we
licensed.
have to, so there may be some things that,
Legally, they can't even print that and sell it, you
Right.
know, without,
Yeah.
Once-
permission from us.
Without our permission, once we own
but
it.
you're talking about, like, pretty much this North Beach logo, like Jewel of Chesapeake, that'd be our,
That's our sponsor logo.
That's
what I mean, that would be it, not
That's the
something-
official one.
the official.
And if somebody wants to use it on their own product, as a license holder, or the owner of that trademark, and we have the right to either allow them to use it or not.
Or not.
And the quality.
And allow them to say, okay, you have to, if you're gonna put it on pair of swim trunks, this is what you have to do. And, quite honestly, if we were Disney, you gotta pay to use the logo.
have we done, I'm just curious, like, what we've done in terms of looking at best practice? Do other towns, I know, how many other towns actually, Mark brought this up at a meeting. I know the
Ocean
legislature-
City has a
Town,
logo.
that they do something, that they.
Do they have a trademark?
Butter towns and
I'm just
something.
curious.
Yeah, every town has one, yeah.
Is that it?
So,
I just want to know how other people are doing that and controlling that. I mean, some of it can be
You know,
difficult to enforce.
Again, anybody that wants to can get a T-shirt and have, I caught my crabs in North Beach, like somebody had a few years ago.
Or even.
And you're right, Pat, that's what exactly what I'm talking about. You know, we can't stop them from doing that. I mean, we
And
went, we
what
went
about
down this road.
pricing? Like, what are we saying, okay, if you wanna sell this sweatshirt that's official with this logo, are we telling them, huh?
We haven't got that far, but I mean, you know, again, as a license holder, we pretty much control it. If we sure don't want them to, you know, if we're selling it for, say, $10 and they're selling it for $9, we sure don't want that to happen because, you know, this is supposed to be kind of in addition to a branding thing, you know, a revenue generator. Because we're certainly not gonna sell it at cost.
I think each piece that they wanted to use or sell our logo on would have to be approved. And the pricing along with it.
I'd love to see some examples of how others are doing this. Like, I just wanna be thoughtful about it. I mean,
You can call in and know.
I mean, yeah, maybe we can get some
We can check.
information. I just,
Check them. And the thing was too, like, say if you go to Florida, you know, wherever, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and you see a nice Jewel of Chesapeake logo, maybe look professional. Not saying that would, you know, be our logo, just like golf, you know, nice golf shirts, NFL, you know, it's like an official. So look good, and be kind of beautiful.
You weren't gonna see this very well, but Ocean City is one of those window stickers, OCM on, that's trademark.
That is?
TM on it
Oh,
or?
there's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's trademark. So the only Ocean City,
and where do they sell that? Do they only sell that
I
in?
imagine what happens is, no, Ocean City probably give it to the businesses.
And do the people sell it, have you seen
Yeah.
that?
They're a couple
And
bucks
do people
each.
buy it for whatever price that business?
They're probably a couple
You know?
dollars, each one we sell ours for $1, $2.
But most likely, when they did that arrangement with those businesses, it's like, here's the sticker. And to me, the way I see how we should, how, to us, here, for example, say somebody wants to sell a North Beach t-shirt that has a logo, and we have one, and they like it, they're just gonna sell it in their store. To me, we should be the controller of the inventory, because the more inventory we buy, the better discount on that purchase we get. Okay, so like if we're buying 500 shirts, we get X for 500 shirts. Okay, if we buy 400 and they buy 100, we both lose out on the deal, if that makes sense. And then we know the quality is, it's exactly like ours. It's official.
No, I get all that. It
So-
just seems like it
I
can get
would
complicated
never,
and.
we're getting into business now.
Yeah, like it's just, I'm just a little, I just wanna make sure we're
Just
doing
now
this
we're,
the
I
smartest
don't
way.
think us trademarking our logo and slogan is affecting any businesses.
no, I'm saying effort and work, like inventory.
Right, like all of a sudden we're like a store, like a warehouse of t-shirts and.
We could trademark, but let them sell what they wanna sell. I mean,
To me, if Marlene wanted to sell our logo on her shirt, she would have done it by now. We've
Yeah.
had that logo for 5 years now.
So that OCM sticker is actually trademarked to a person, not to the town.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Oh, it is?
But it's still trademark.
That's not the town. See,
I wonder if we
I,
could actually even do that, because as a employee of the federal government, we can't do things like copyright stuff.
I know, like that's what I'm just kind
Maybe
of, I'm
I don't
wondering.
know if.
I feel like we just need to-
I'm pretty sure that Attorney Jim told us about it now.
I hope so.
When he was here, he told us.
He submitted our work.
well, there's a couple of things. I believe Rockville did, because during their campaign, there was offshoots of social media pages using their logo and tagline to market as the official page. So Rockville, I believe it is, did trademark and all that good stuff with their logo.
We had that issue down here a number of years
So-
ago.
My only, absolutely, they want to do, they can do it. I'm just saying my part is, we can trademark it, we can, whatever else, register, but I just would not get into the part of micromanaging this. And I think, right now, this conversation, but you know what I hope y'all all get, this conversation is confusing. Could you imagine what the public feels right now? So that's why this is coming up, because, I mean, we're not even sure what the hell's going on. So, well, I'm not, I apologize, I have no clue what, I mean, that's why we're discussing today.
Right,
Are we
right.
gonna do trademark or are we not? I mean,
Are we
there's no
price
solid fact yet.
fixing, are we not, are we?
I think what they're saying is that there will be stuff with a logo that belongs to the town, the towns will sell things with the logo, and anybody else can sell anything else as long as it doesn't have a logo on
You
it.
know what, personally, I would,
Right? Is that right?
personally, I would like to see if it exists, if somebody can find out from MML, what have you, a model where this has been done by another town and it's successful, like, how have they done it? Did they set a price? Did they, carry the inventory and sell it to the people? I mean, this is like sort of some uncharted territory for us, and I just want to make sure that we.
I think we're kind of mixing apples and bananas here, a little bit. We're talking about having this, and to be quite honest, the t-shirt shop is gonna go up one way or the other. That is quite honestly, and I put this in that email a couple weeks ago, businesses have had the opportunity to sell t-shirts now forever for the last 30 years, we went into the tourism business. And every day, you can't get down to the beach more than 10 minutes, and somebody comes up, do you have a t-shirt? Do you have a towel? Where can I buy a towel? Because my kid forgot his towel. You just go. So, I
Well,
mean.
that's separate from
Well, and
how
that's
it's
separate,
controlling the
but I
logo.
mean, we're getting into, the question we have right now, I think, is, and we've talked about it for years. If I can find it, I'll try and find the first North Beach logo we were going to trademark. 30 years ago. I have it folded up. Remember those Bayfest t-shirts we had with the boat on? Remember we talked about trademarking? It was the crab, it was the bagel. We were going to trademark that, and that fell through the cracks, so it was going to cost $87 to do it, that was just too much to spend. I can't
I just think
remember.
I want to just make sure we thoughtfully answer the questions of how are we controlling the logo? How is the pricing being done? How is the selling? I mean, there are some questions here. I'm with Mike, and I can't, if somebody asked me tomorrow, like, so how is this gonna roll out? What does this look like? I wanna make sure, this is a new thing, there's no judgment here. I'm just saying, I feel like we need to make sure we're all understanding what we're doing.
Okay, I don't think there's any way we can talk at all about pricing of any product like that, because we don't have it.
No, but in theory, are we controlling the pricing? Are we letting people charge 9 and we charge 10? These kind of things that are gonna come up that could potentially become
I think that's
issues.
something, quite honestly, that we need to maybe take this one step at a time. And the first step is to get this trademark. Then we have to decide if we're really gonna license it. If we really.
Well, in the
wanna license
meantime, I think we could be doing a little bit of homework to
Well,
find
yeah, and
out.
that's fine, but I mean, do we really want to license it? I mean, seriously, do we really want to license it? Will we buy 1,000 t-shirts?
Well, that's what I mean, we got what are the pros and cons, the benefits, there's just information, there's
Because
some analysis we
it
need
has to have
to
a logo on it in order for any of this to happen. The logo,
I just get a little bit more information before we make some decisions, and that's where I'm at. I feel like I need more information before we make
Part
any
of what
decisions.
you're asking about is decisions after we first have the first domino of we have the logo trademark. Because we could have the logo trademark and do nothing with it, and somebody comes and
Yeah.
says, I want to put it on a shirt, and we go, great, cool, go. Okay?
Well, no, but we're gonna be opening up the shirt shack, and if people, I think we wanna do some of this due diligence before there's a problem.
But what I'm saying is that part of the problem doesn't appear until this part is in place. Okay, it's like driving a car before you have your.
No, I disagree. I think we can do some homework now. and get
Well,
some
I'm not
answers
saying
on
we
it.
don't do homework, but we're sort of beating a dead horse right now when we need no information. Like, we first have to make sure we can get a trademark. Once it's trademarked, then we can say, okay, now we have it.
Don, are you getting any impression that it won't go through? I've trademarked a logo for my company, so I've been through that. And basically, they do a search to make sure there's nobody else, but we know nobody else. I mean, so.
Search has been done, there's no one else.
Yes,
All the
it's just
applications have
paperwork.
been submitted,
Yeah,
and we're just
it's
waiting
gonna
for it.
happen. It's gonna happen. I've been through it myself.
It takes several months.
My own
We're not
company,
ready for that.
yeah.
But then the next part then is like, nobody could come to us saying they want to use it. So we could spend all this time and energy into trying to think of how we will do something if this person comes to us to ask. And it may just be honestly case by case. Maybe I want to put it on a giant Yeti cooler. And we go, you know what, we don't want to do that. Go for it. Okay? Because we don't want to take on that endeavor with that logo in that use.
Well, like Mexico, you said they have it on their shirts. Are we gonna stop making them wear? I mean, I think we just need to think through
Well,
some
and once we
things.
have a trademark, then we can go and say, look, it's trademark, and then we have to make a decision. And the question, is that a staff decision, or is that a legislative branch decision? Because that's what we are. We're the legislative branch.
We're gonna get questions from people in town.
And
And
that's-
I want to like know what we're thinking.
Can I just make clear that the trademark patent, the logo, all that, that was something that we had talked about, like Stacy said, when Ken Wilcox was here, like, we were gonna do that before, and it wasn't done just recently because we were gonna sell t-shirts. That's not, we just followed through with that finally to get it done.
Yeah, because we've been talking about that Jewel and Chesapeake for a decade.
Yeah, and then like,
Anyway.
you know, the new SD and all that. Ken was
I know,
gonna
but
do
it
that,
could-
and I don't know.
It
what-
could become a bigger issue now.
I
but-
know, I'm saying, but I'm just saying that we didn't
I
file
get that, I
that
get that.
because of the shirt
Right,
tag.
but now it's
So-
real, you know what I mean? Some of
It
the things are
is,
brought up,
it
and now
is.
we're actually going down the path. So
Yeah.
now it's time to have a real
And it
conversation.
all started in MMO when Sally talked to somebody and they said that they were the.
She spoke with someone in. where was it?
Chestertown or somewhere.
Harvey Grace.
Sorry, Grace, they use.
Somewhere.
She said that they were the jewel of the Chesapeake, and she's like, no, we're the jewel of the Chesapeake Bay, and they went back and forth.
They're the cesspit of the Chesapeake.
And so that was years ago.
And that's when we started talking about doing this.
I just don't want you guys to think, or anyone else to think, that we are trademarking this because we don't want anybody else to sell this with our logo on it. That's not what it was. We started that process long before.
Well, I think even if we had like some talking, like some bullet, I mean, it just feels, it just feels a little nebulous right now.
Okay, what is the biggest objection you've heard so far? I mean, we're dancing around, is there an objection from any business about us doing that? Because I feel that's what that's coming from.
Do we know?
Well, no, I'm asking.
Have you guys gotten concerns, questions, or?
Well, it's
specifically to the church?
related, and this is a point that, maybe a good segue, on the Shirt Shack. I think I've gotten more questions about that, but this is related to that, right? They're kind of
But the
connected.
question's like, what is it?
Well,
Or
what is it?
I'm selling North Beach stuff in my store and you're gonna take my business away.
There's definitely some of that, and some of the things that, again, even with the Shirt Shack, that I feel like we haven't come to any final conclusion. We've kind of put things out there and talked about. For example, during one meeting, we talked about, should this be operated by somebody else? Should we put an RFP out for somebody else to operate it? Or should this be, Richard and staff? That's a thought. I mean,
We-
there's part of me is thinking, huh?
Council, was it council we did that?
Yeah, there was conversation about how is this gonna run? Should this be, operated by, yeah, remember, yeah, there was some dialogue about that. Yeah.
Yeah, when you said there was a meeting, I couldn't remember.
No, it was a dialogue. Paul, you remember what I'm talking about?
We mentioned.
And we've
we
never,
mentioned that.
yeah, it was mentioned, I mean, and so we never kind of finished, I mean, that's why we're having a work session item on it. We haven't kind of buttoned up some of these things. And so I want to put that on the table. Like, so is the plan that existing staff would run it? Do we want to consider putting out an RFP to see if a business, there should be a separate operator for this? Because there is some of that out there about, are we,
I think
Is that
that's
done?
on the table.
Yeah, I think it's a nice meeting.
yeah, I mean, that's the logo is part of it. I more wanted to talk about the running of it because there is some thought about that are we competing with businesses?
Well, that's tied together too, because if we do
Yeah.
an RFP, have a vendor, we can then license the logo to that vendor to sell using that, the shirt shack.
Right.
They all tied together.
Exactly.
So it's how we-
And they would want to know, am I an exclusive seller or can other people sell it? I mean, so we have to figure these things out.
That would be also, that would go to a highest bidder, so like the county does it, I don't know if they still do it, they used to do it with their food concessions at the parks. Is they put out, is it still?
Reason Point, they do, at all ballparks and Reason Point. They put out food vendors every year, they put out a contract or put out an RFP for a vendor that wants to rent these stand from
Okay.
About
The
three
town does
gallons
that?
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, county.
And it's
They
the
do
highest
a raise
bidder.
point in the, Dunkirk and the
Both sides, good.
The highest bidder to rent the space, or the
Yeah.
highest?
Yeah, how much they will give you.
Well, I mean, personally, I would, if we did an RFP, I would like to see us giving preference perhaps to somebody already in North Beach that would, maybe they expand, or, something like that. I mean, again, we have to be thoughtful about that, but do we want to do something like that to help with economic development in our own town?
Are you moving
Like
into
that?
number 5?
Pardon me?
Are you moving
She
into number
is.
5?
No, that's separate.
Oh, that's separate?
Yeah, that's separate. And I'm sorry, Ken Hennings is here, and I appreciate your patience, and Stacy Allen as well. So that's number 5. But that's when we talked about the logo, Shirt Shack. So you like that idea, Paul?
Just kind of stacked with lake and that on one side.
Yeah, I mean,
This is all moss.
we actually
What's
should
that?
make
Well, like Randy said earlier, that I would kind of just listen to the conversation, would like to know if anybody is interested, whether you get any bids. Because I mean, you say, we're
Right.
talking about it, but I don't even know if anybody.
Maybe, and you know what, maybe we would.
And this is February, so we kind of like need to make the decision
Yeah.
yesterday.
Right.
Well, just because it's a limited stand, it's not like, I don't know how many bids you really get for that, so
But it'd be interesting to see, you know what I mean? And we could have Plan B. I mean,
I guess that's what you were asking.
Personally,
if you have said any, has anybody shared interest yet, or?
Yeah.
We don't know either, about that.
Well, I was always under the assumption, and when we kind of talked about it unofficially over the last like 5 years, I was always under the impression that we were going to staff it ourselves, because that's the cleanest, easiest way to do it.
I think that's just to get up and roll and get started and make sure it's done right, was one thing that, we probably talked about staffing, is because we hadn't thought about this far out. So just to get it up off the ground first year, but, you have a good point, so I don't know how you do
But I
that.
think
I've watched some of the folks go to the county and do the food vendors, and sometimes it's not real pretty.
Well, sometimes they don't ask to come back because it's so bad. There's a couple situations where a vendor did it, messed it up for the whole year, so like they couldn't even put in a bid next year, so you gotta go through that process.
But
Sometimes with that, we don't wanna start off, we give up our
In
shirt,
good stead.
thing like that, or a stand like that.
I think an RFP would put us in good stead with our businesses.
Yeah, that would be smart. to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I
At
think
least
we-
you see if you get anything back.
and if we have criteria, I mean, I think we, knock on wood, usually do a pretty good job. And if we don't get any that seem like they meet, those criteria, or if we don't get any, but,
Right.
we always have the right not to award. I think that it would be, again, doing our due diligence to do that.
Dawn,
Probably need to do that pretty quick.
when we did the website, originally when we were talking about there being the ability to have an online store through the website. Does the new platform allow that?
We have to use a third party.
You have to use a third party? Okay, because I remember us talking about that. 'Cause I remember that's when merchandising came up,
Yeah.
was when we were talking about doing an online store through the website that would have our logo, you can buy it through there. 'Cause
Yeah, that was,
I remember some of the stems of that conversation starting there.
That's what we're doing, next to Dan for that. You could ask pretty much.
We get asked all the time.
That's
I
like
wanna
constantly,
have-
too.
And this is kind of, I think, how this has evolved over
Right.
time. People, they either want something with that ND on it. I have people contact me all the time, like, there's a writer for the Washington Post, sends me emails. Can I get that hat yet? You
It's a
know?
great logo.
They want that. Richard gets asked all the time. And then on the other side of that, there's people that, like, I think Randy said, they forgot their beach towel.
Yeah.
Or they need sunscreen, and I know there are places in town that have sunscreen, but sometimes they're not open at 8 in the morning, or just things like that. And the concept behind this Shirt Shack was not to have 100 different items in there, just, 10 items or so, t-shirt, sweatshirt, beach towel.
Hats,
a
sunscreen,
a hat,
that's it.
The sunglasses that everyone
Postcards
is
again.
fighting for.
Yeah.
Postcards of North Beach.
Right.
Not-
It's not driven by demand, not by.
Yeah.
I know, I
Just
just don't want to
people
set the
that want-
perception
Yeah.
that we're like competing, and make it so easy that nobody has to leave the beach. So they can get everything you need right there. I mean, this is, this is not good. This is, we have to think about like that, and especially if it's the town running,
Right.
this makes me uncomfortable.
But in
So
order
think about the
to
best way
make
to do it, I guess.
It will make it cleaner, especially if we gave, for, extra credit or whatever you want to call it to somebody, it looks like, hey, you want to expand, we're creating a business development opportunity here in North Beach. I mean, I feel like it's the right thing to do.
I couldn't see any of our current businesses doing
Well,
it.
that's not the point.
Well,
That's
no,
not
no,
the point in
I'm just
his.
throwing that out.
I hear
That's
you.
what you're hoping that
I would
happens.
hope, or somebody here
I would
would
hope
do it.
that-
I would-
I would
yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
hate
yeah.
for someone from
I would love to see
Virginia to come
somebody.
here.
Right.
and take
Kind of
it.
question like
Yeah.
that. If we did it right, we kind of wrap it up.
Well, here, real quick, number 4 says discussion on the selling of town merchandise with logo. Are we still talking about that?
Yeah, because the Church Shack ties in.
No, but let's get back to the point where here, I mean, it's about, right now, is selling the town merchandise with a logo. The question is, do we, moving forward with the trademark and the other thing, we can do that and never use it, never enforce it, it goes in a drawer someplace hidden.
Well, one.
Right? I mean, really, then the second part is, of that, is do we want to say, now, I do not agree with us being an inventory holder. I would think that we would open up to everybody to say, listen, here's the approved logo, blah, 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 whatever the hell you say, and say, please, you can buy it from this vendor. I would not get into worrying about pricing. We're not in the business of competing with other businesses. And it's a lot of freaking labor to do that. Second of all, I think it's more for branding for me. Just like I wear this shirt right here, it's for branding. It's to me. If we can make some extra bucks, well, God bless the world, God bless America. We can do that. But if we can make this simple and streamlined and say, hey, businesses, here's what we're offering at the Shirt Shack. They're going to leave here to go buy ice cream. They're going to walk by your store. Well, I'm not worried when they're open or not open. I don't care. That's their business. I'm self-employed because I don't want you to tell me what the hell I'm going to do. So if I don't want to be open at 2, damn it, don't worry about it. That's my damn business. So what I say is we open it up to them and say, listen, you can buy as much as we want, but man, we get them to start controlling prices, and we have to get labor involved. We're going to have to hire somebody to monitor this, and we become pricing monitors. Just trademark the damn thing, then decide what we want to do from there. But if all we have to do is open up to everybody in the town, who does it, who doesn't, who cares?
Well, we're gonna have to get in the weeds at some point, but I'm with you, Mike, in terms of, I'm fine with us moving forward on the logo. Can we agree? It feels like if there's some agreement. We're not gonna resolve all the details of the rollout right now.
Just agree to the logo right now.
We can do that, but can we agree that we need more discussion around the rollout and the use? If we can agree to that, then we need more conversation. But then the third item then is, do we want to look at doing the RFP for the stand? Because that's coming up quickly, and if we're gonna do that, and that's related to all of this. So that's, I want to support going out for that. Other people have opinions.
You gotta get the product first.
Pardon me?
You have to get the product first.
Well, we're gonna have the product, we know if we're gonna have the product, and the Shirt Shack's being built, and it's gonna be open for the summer.
I'm pretty sure we're on the product. We haven't gotten that far.
What's the anticipated
We're
date for the
focused
store
on,
open?
We haven't decided what any of the product is yet.
yeah, there may be just sunscreen in there right now.
We were thinking about Memorial Day.
Well, I'm putting it out there. My recommendation is that we put out an
How about if we
RFP
put
for
it
who
on
operates
the, we
it.
put it on the agenda next week as an action item?
Perfect.
The mayor will
I agree.
do that next week.
You agree with the RFP? Okay.
And I agree with the team to do the logo and for
Yeah,
trademark, that's all fine.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
we
Brand
have
protection and all that
submitted the
stuff.
applications, that's a done deal.
Yeah, the logo's done.
All right, I think
That all
we have
makes
a
sense.
plan.
That's an administrative action.
We do need more discussion on the licensing, how, if
Yes.
we're gonna license it, how we're gonna do
I
that.
think we have a plan, right? So yeah, we all agree we need more discussion on the rollout of the licensing, and we'll put the RFP on the agenda for next week.
Yeah, the RFP is for,
An operator of the Shirt Shack.
We'll have to set,
to be a church shack or to be a hot dog stand?
set the feet around.
To be a Shirt
Oh,
Shack.
come on
We
now.
can just,
I'm just making sure.
we can write the RFP.
You know what, he wants us to brand it and
We're gonna-
be in a hot dog, that's what he wants.
I just want to make sure
You can't get a good grilled hot dog
that
around here.
I know what action on the RFP.
Like, how
is
does
taking
we
next.
have hot dogs?
It's not built to pass health inspection.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get a stainless steel sink in there, Richard, you'll be fine.
Okay, let's move on to number 5.
Okay.
There you go.
Go ahead, Glenn.
All right, so number 5, I wanted to, speaking as a good segue to, oh, Randy went, to continue our dialogue about economic development in the town. Ken Hennings is here in the audience. I don't know, does anybody know Ken? Oh, and I'm gonna let,
I've met Mike before and I've seen the names here.
Yeah. and I'm gonna let him say a few words in just a minute. And Stacy Allen, who is the,
I know some of you.
yeah,
I used to run the Bay Arts Center, and I'm where Cold Penguin is now. My daughter and I painted the murals on the Welcome Center.
so I'll let them chime in here in just a minute. Ken is retired from U.S. Department of Agriculture, ran basically the grant program, oversaw, knows it in and out. I think you were there, what, 20-plus years? I
Yeah,
don't wanna-
DC, I was like 27 years, a total of 39.
Total of 39 years, so he knows all about, and we're considered, like an agriculture area, yeah, you know all about this. So he brought a grant opportunity to my attention, and I've been talking with a small group of people about it, Stacy being one of those. And the grant is all about job creation and economic development for, considered rural areas, right? So, which were considered, and Ken had shared with me that we may have a good chance of getting this because this particular grant, there hasn't been a lot of awards in Southern Maryland in our area, so they like to, Joanne knows this, they like to spread these things around. And so the idea of it, so I wanted to share this with you tonight. This has been, it was just recently brought, there's a quick turnaround, so I don't expect, full yay or nay tonight, but maybe just, are we interested in learning more and possibly supporting this? And so before I do this, do you want to say a couple words, Ken, and maybe even just describe the grant a little bit, and then we can just describe the specific project.
Well, actually, Gwen, I'd like to thank you for inviting me, so it's been a long time since I used to sit at town council meetings and so forth when I used to be out in the field. But for years, I've been to Washington DC though, and our grant programs, we have a variety of programs, as some of you know, as business people and otherwise, and we don't need to get into that. But the fact is, so I used to be involved, our priority is job development, economic development in rural areas. That's USDA for rural development. That's what they do. Even though I'm retired, I'm here as more of a promoter or of the program if it will fit a community that I'm actually involved in and working with. Because my current position, I'm with New Millennial Commercial Real Estate Services, spin-off of Century 21. I'm in Prince Frederick, and I'm into working with businesses and that type of thing, but that's something we can always talk about later. But the point is, the one thing that we need to clarify tonight on this is called a Rural Business Enterprise Grant, and it's an RBDG, it doesn't matter the acronym. It does not go to a for-profit business. It does not, a grant is not going to a for-profit business. What it's going to be is a nonprofit or a non-for-profit entity, usually a 501c3, okay? And what it's developed on, what it's utilized for is for job development. Job development can be through a business incubator. And what you do though as business people, for some of you, you're always looking for, and I put in the perspective of incubator though, where we're doing like you may be through again, it's really up to you guys to develop the way you want to develop it. I won't have the input on it. But what we want to focus on is it's almost like Voltec training. What we're trying to do though is we're taking a business incubator with a grant to a nonprofit, not a for-profit, that could actually go ahead and enhance job skills that could take these folks and move them into actually jobs to businesses in North Beach or the surrounding areas. The grant itself though, again, is the size amount and so forth though, and this program is actually being administered through our Delaware State Office. They administer Maryland and Delaware, okay? We have a subsidiary office over at La Plata, which I would have involved in this if it's decided to go ahead and pursue this. You have nothing to lose on this. Now again, when you talked about the dollar amount though, the state of Delaware right now, we used to allocate to each state, and that was one of my responsibilities over the staff. The state of Delaware, though, usually averages around 30,000, 40,000 grants, and they go to small businesses, nonprofit entities, to enhance business development. They want to be able to go ahead and try to show that there is going to be some sort of job creation, direct or indirect. For example, Chesapeake Bounty is not getting involved in this grant. It's a nonprofit entity. But what could happen is, though, through the incubator service, or through whether it's a culinary, though, through food services or whatever you're gonna do, taking those vegetables, and by the way, the meat and stuff is wonderful there. I just tried it, though, and I really like what they do sell, even though it's a little bit higher, but it's all worth it. But what we can do, though, is take those people, they can use the grant funds for labor, they can use the grant funds to go ahead and put a kitchen in, they can do all of those things. One of the things that we would encourage, Joe, as for a town like yourself, is if you can provide any kind of leverage, Joe, with any form of grant funds, to go ahead and leverage, Joe, what the USDA would provide through rural development. For example, and I would suggest going ahead and submitting a grant to over $50,000 up to $70,000. That's what I would suggest personally, but that's all up to you. For example, you go ahead and say, okay, I can go ahead and match up to a certain dollar amount, whatever that is, if you decide it's worthwhile. Why would you do that? The leverage will actually give you more points because you are going to be competing with other nonprofit entities in Delaware and in Maryland, in Cumberland County, for example, and some other areas. And the thing is, it will be the first time application we've had in Southern Maryland. I'd like to see this money get out here, though, in my background, because I'm from this area, okay? I'd like to see the money coming here. I'd like to see some of the taxpayer grant money coming to North Beach or the other beach areas, though, for job enhancement, job development.
And can I just add on to
Yeah.
that, Ken? So the idea would be, it ties in with arts, it would be culinary arts. And so basically it would be training people, I think they're looking at creating a number of jobs. The application, they're doing the application right now, so it's in draft, and that can be shared when it's ready. But the idea is to tie it into culinary arts, so it ties into our Sustainable Maryland. It ties into, if we want to go after our arts and entertainment designation, as a district. So they would be teaching people, the grant would be to support teaching people about food service, training them so that they could ideally get jobs. So maybe farmers could then come back and sell food, or it would be hiring additional instructors because people would come in and pay for the classes through Bay Arts. So it's basically create, Randy just I think got a light bulb.
I'm trying to figure out, okay, who's gonna be doing this?
Where is this at? Is this at Chesapeake Bay?
So what'll happen, I'll let Stacy chime in a second. So Bay Arts is the applicant?
Bay Arts has been dormant for several years. We used to be down on the boardwalk. We gradually moved inside with Boys and Girls Club, and then when my husband got ill, we kind of stopped working. My board of directors was still intact. We sat down with Mark about 6-7 months ago and said, look, we're ready to do, Mark Richard, sorry, saying we'd like to do something again, and he said, you really don't want rent in the winter. That was your struggle before. Let's continue talking about it. Maybe you could do a pop-up here at the community center or a pop-up there. And I kind of went away thinking about it, but nothing really came of it. Then recently, with the developments with Chesapeake Bounty, they made the decision to stay open and create the community space. So as a volunteer in that area, I've taken on scheduling the calendar, and we put on several arts classes. We've already held one very successful art event with local artists, so we have one coming up this Saturday. And we started to talk about expanding our mission to include culinary arts and teaching in that sense. People on the committee had millions of ideas about, bringing in local chefs to teach classes, and then we thought, well, what if we really could have a kitchen where we could learn to, can and learn to do all these different things, and we could do that in this space. So that's where this kind of came from. Our board of directors wants to be back and offering fine arts classes, performing arts classes. We've got ukulele classes on the schedule. We've got a lot of things that are going to be happening in this space. But because of the food element that's there, we started to think about what else can we do. And then when we learned about this grant opportunity, we thought, well, Ken encouraged us to apply for it based on the reasons that.
So they're going to be subletting space at the store, but the grant will be to help build some infrastructure so that you guys can do these trainings there, and, you know, that will help hire people, trainers, and then teaching people other arts that they can get jobs. So it's sort of it's truly an incubator. So we don't have to, you know, we don't have to contribute money, but one of the items and there's a letter of intent. The first thing is a letter of intent that's due on Monday. And then if the USDA likes the project that you described, then they invite you to submit a full proposal. So the ideas are just being crafted now. But for the letter of intent, there's a section in there that says what other, you know, funding they always want to see. Do you have other buy-in, right, from your community and others?
And
And
there's,
we listed in the past, I'm sorry for interrupting you. In the past, we've had grants from Bay Business Group because we partnered with the Arc of Southern Maryland. And we've had grants from the Calvert Arts Council, and we listed those, but we thought the town of North Beach supporting it would maybe be a strong benefit. So.
Who's hiring? I mean, like, somebody goes through, so there would be, your nonprofit would hire people and pay them a wage.
Yeah, to be trainers, and so if they can grow the trainings, they're gonna charge for the training. So if they have the infrastructure to provide workshops and trainings, they can hire more
We'll hire
trainers.
instructors for the classes, maybe, you know, and hire as contractors, chefs to come in and teach and do job training. That's part of the plan.
Well, when you look at the town of North Beach, because it would be coming from the town of North Beach, how would the town, the individuals that live here benefit from this?
Well, I think there's been a real outpouring from the town saying that they want the community space. They came out that they wanted the bounties to stay, and that was kind of their solution, was creating a community space. We've had a great response to the community space, to the classes that we've already put on the schedule. People are asking for more classes in cooking and recipes and.
Or they could learn that,
From town residents?
for example, though, they could.
Town residents, yes.
Yes,
Are
maybe
asking.
Because I was at the meeting, I know it was,
Mhm.
there was a lot of people, but there was a lot of people from outside of North Beach, probably more. So, I'm just saying, because this is gonna come from taxpayers here.
Okay, I see what you mean.
You know, not Dunkirk or Huntingtown or Owens or Sunderland, it's
Right.
coming from taxpayers here. How does it benefit those individuals, besides feeling good about it?
Right, well, I think part of our vision is to become like an arts destination and certainly a sustainable community. And I think it really supports both of those pieces of the vision.
Get some money from the county.
What'd you say, Pat?
Might want to get some money from the county.
And that could be, and I think,
I don't think the town is necessarily the place to be looking for the money. I think we need to go to the county first.
and there's a number, I know you guys started a list of other places, and doesn't have to be one or the other. Even if it's a small piece, it just is sort of that we're in support of economic development and job creation in our town. So I think, you know, like Ken was saying, some of it is that symbolism, that you have buy-in from the town, that we're in support of job creation and economic development. So I guess, so one of the questions would be, this first letter is due Monday. There's a section where you can check on there, is there a grant? We don't have to choose a dollar amount right now. We don't even have to say that we're going to give it. There's a place that says under review. So this is something we want to consider, that we don't have to make a decision tonight. When they submit the letter of intent, they can put us on there without a dollar amount and just put under review, if we want to do that. And then later, when you guys actually have a proposal, you know, they could come back again and we can yay or nay. So I think that's all that was being asked for tonight, was could they put under review for the letter of intent? Are we comfortable with that?
I have no problem under review. I mean, we're not buying into it.
Right, exactly.
I don't even, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, let's face it, we got surprised a couple months ago by a request from the church in Sunderland for their support, so,
Right.
you know, it's like.
I mean, I'm fine saying under review. I mean, are you guys okay with that? Okay. There you go. Yeah, thank you so much, and Ken, thank you, you're just a great resource.
I think
for North
the one thing I want to say about the direct jobs, and we've done various incubators all over the U.S. This has been done many times, and we can give you examples. Regarding whether it's going to impact North Beach, it will. Do you have restaurants here? Do you have food places
I'm
here?
getting more.
Yeah, do you have other spin-off businesses where actually though, when, you know, through your nonprofit, for training though, they may be hired. So even though you're gonna have, and you want a bunch of people to be coming in from the outside, though, for North Beach. You wanna have a major attraction, but you will go ahead and have people though, where you can have them get direct hires here. So there's some real justification here, and that's what we would look at
It's
as well.
exciting, yeah.
It's very
To
good.
have our
training.
own job creation
Absolutely,
coordinator, you know?
but what we don't want to do, or at least I don't want to do, is go out to the public again and say, hey, I agreed to, I have no freaking clue what I agreed to.
That's what I'll say, under review only.
But I mean, the businesses have to buy into this, the restaurants have to
Yeah.
buy into this,
Right.
and they're not at the table right now, so.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a
just
lot of
started
people need to
this
be at the
month.
table
Yeah.
before us.
It's a deadline that's driving the conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
No, absolutely.
I think it's-
We need to clarify for sure.
I think the
It's a two-part
businesses I've been
process.
talking to is, you know, they say, well, hey, yeah, we'd like to have a grant. Well, I said, that's not what it's about.
Right.
It's all, because we want to get that, that's a misnomer. What we want to do though is if you want to hire people, if you want to train people, you can get grant funds to do it, to assist to do it. We've got a young lady here who's willing to do it though. We'd sure like to go ahead and take a stab at it, and you've offered to do that, that's all you can ask.
Ken, thank you, and Stacy,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else anybody wants to bring up?
Yeah,
Say that again.
we aren't doing it tonight. We absolutely have to do ERBO by inspection. Or we're gonna lose another year on the tax abatement. That's simple.
What do you propose?
Yeah, we're gonna be on the agenda.
Oh, you wanted the agenda?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, I would prefer to talk about it tonight, which is another month. You know, we have about half of our ERBOs are non-compliant, lodging tax, we need to figure out what we do to make them compliant.
Right.
You know, they're not meeting one of the conditions they got when they got the special exception.
Can I just throw one other thing out there, Shane? Just quickly, and I know Pat's here tonight. It relates to the mobile vendors. I know I had talked with Pat about the status. You guys are looking at all of that, the planning commission, and we'll have some recommendations coming fairly soon, right? It sounded like in terms of that. And I just wanted to put out there that I'd really like the planning commission to get some input from the businesses about those recommendations, and we can do it either way. I think, Jane, you and I talked a little bit. I guess the question is, do we get the input from the businesses before you guys come to us or after? And it probably makes sense to get some input before, so you can present it with that in mind. So I just.
Your choice.
Yeah, do you guys think they should do that and then present it to us?
I don't know, I think it should be written down so they can read it and see what we're talking about.
I think they will, that's what they're gonna do,
We've
right?
got a concept, we can, as you know,
I mean, this has been several months, and I've been to the meeting, so I actually know what's going on. I think probably, I don't know, if I were a business person, because I'm very visual, I would need to see it before I would want to give any input, saying, okay, what are you planning on doing? You come and tell me, well, we're gonna do this, this, and this, I want it written down so I can see what that means.
actually, we have a work session on Saturday morning, and we're gonna finish the proposal. And they reminded me I have to be here 9:30 Saturday morning.
Boy, I won't be able to make that at the legislative meeting.
9:30 this Saturday, you guys are,
Yeah. We'll finish that one in the taverns.
so what are you saying, right? And then you're saying, are you saying,
I would think.
send them
Write
a
it down
copy and
and
then
go
have them?
forward.
Yeah, I would think it would be, you'd have better quality input from the businesses if you would have at least a draft copy, rather than going in and saying, hey, we're gonna do this.
And then say, comments, please come to the next meeting, like this date.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't think we talked about how you're gonna do it, but you can do that, right?
We can write this down and like go forth and meet with, developments of the businesses, some way. And, maybe get a couple cost numbers to come out to us and meet some businesses and then come back to you. I mean, how do you want to?
Well, I think, what
What do you want?
should they go to a loop meeting, or I can ask someone
Yeah,
on
what do
the
you want?
EDC what the recommendation, what would be the best?
They still have
They do once in a while.
And the loop meetings, not everybody goes to those either.
Right, I know.
So,
I think they should come here.
They should come.
Or just invite them here,
You can
yeah.
very easily
I don't care
get
how it's
one of
done.
the businesses to call them all together, just like
Yeah.
you did during the
Yeah.
charrette.
So I can guarantee you, we've been talking about this for almost a year, I can guarantee you, 3 of them are gonna say they didn't know anything about it.
It always happens.
I think they come here.
So what,
I can't come stand
figure out
there,
the
it's,
details.
it's, that's someplace.
Oh, no, it's all right.
You ready, Mark?
Yes,
All right, so
ready.
that's what we'll do.
Okay, everybody agree to adjourn?
Yep, agreed.
We're meeting together on Saturday morning to write